And so when I say Chinese, I want you to scream out the nation that's associated with this. For example, if I say Chinese, you're going to say what?
China.
All right, let's say it with authority. When I say Chinese, you say what? China. All right, that's just a test right there. So here we go. Chinese.
China.
Russian.
Russia.
Italian.
Italy.
German.
Germany.
Swedish.
Sweden.
Korean.
Korea.
Egyptian.
Egypt.
Nigerian.
Nigeria.
Black.
Exactly. Nothing. Tell him, Pastor. Tell him, Pastor. Black, nothing.
I hope you were able to successfully identify the issue.
The lion won't sleep tonight, 'cause we woke now, and we woke now. I said the lion won't sleep tonight, 'cause we woke now, and we woke now. They want us to sell our souls to barter profit, like God's property. It's hard to market, so we steady to aim, keep your eyes on target. 'Cause when you got to drive, yeah, they'd rather you park it. But I don't valet, you ain't getting these keys. I'm keeping closed hands, I'm on bended knee. I'm just a reflection, dealing with 8 sections. Art mixed with life, you can feel the convection. Your lion won't sleep tonight, 'cause we woke now, and we woke now. I said the lion won't sleep tonight, 'cause we woke now, and we woke now. I said the
So we're supposed to we're just being told that anti-Semitism is now criticizing Israel. Anti-Semitism is anything they want it to be. They can't even define it. They admit in this bill that they've passed through the House that there's really truly no actual protection for Jews, but they're just making it up as they go because they want to say, well, but Semites, which we shouldn't even be using that word anymore, because most Jews who practice the religion of Judaism or who are culturally Jewish, even if they don't practice the Jewish religion, but they're culturally Jewish, like many are culturally Christian. Many of us celebrate Christmas, but we're not Christian. That's cultural Christianity. It is what it is, right? They can't define it. They're putting all these rules on us. We shouldn't even allow them to use the term anti-Semitism. It's not real. Most of these Jews are not Semites.
Want to say peace and blessings to you guys. Want to apologize for the delay. the silence that was done by StreamYard just right when I played the clip from Kim about anti-Semitism. Suddenly, the I got kicked out of StreamYard. I got completely kicked out, got removed from StreamYard. And you guys that have been following me for a while, you guys already know that it's not a coincidence. When you deal with certain subjects, that's when suddenly certain things began to happen out of the clear blue. And this is one of those things that took place literally just when I played the video to go through my intros like I would normally do. Suddenly, I got kicked out. I got kicked out of StreamYard, and I had to, in a nutshell, log back in, go through the whole security code and all that other stuff just to even get back into this live stream. So I appreciate you guys for your patience. Let me just do one quick thing here. All right, just want to just do a quick banner here, and we'll just put this in the bottom here. And you guys have been following me for a while, and you guys already know some of the things that this platform have been subjected to from many of you guys that are subscribed. And if you guys believe that you are still subscribed, double check to see if you're still subscribed. Double check and see if you are still subscribed to this platform, because what YouTube has done and continue to do, they've been unsubscribing subscribers. They've been what is called shadow banning. That's where they really minimize your interactions, your video reach. And even over the past couple of uploads that I've done, even this morning, some of you guys probably witnessed it. I scheduled a video to premiere, and what happened earlier today, the video wouldn't premiere. And it did it a few times, even with me literally uploading the video again. It did that a few times. It started when the initial video that I uploaded, kind of like a reaction to the Candace Owens and the Rabbi Shmuley debate that was on Piers Morgan. And so I uploaded a video, scheduled it to premiere, and instead of premiering, it treated it as if it was a regular upload. Now, some of you guys that are not content creators, you probably really don't understand and know the significance of that, upload versus premiering. So when you have a video premiere, it can make a world of a difference on your impressions. The higher your impressions are, the recommendations, your videos will come up in certain recommendations under certain genres, certain discussions, right? So part of suppressing a channel is not putting it in the recommendations, manipulating the impressions. So if I upload a video, right, versus allowing the video to premiere, let's just say if we have 500 people watching the premiere and watching that video all the way to the end, that makes a world of a difference on the impressions and increase the chances of it being recommended to others with similar topics. So that makes a world of a difference. Even your comments that you post, the likes, all of that is part of the impressions. So when you see a video and it appears like it's not getting a lot of views, that can have an impact on the recommendations, because you may think that that video may not be a good video. So I want to make sure you guys understand this. And why am I going here? Well, you guys already know, and I'm going to zoom this in, Candace Owens' YouTube channel is suspended, or should I say she got strikes. So normally when you get 3 strikes, they cancel your channel. She got 3 strikes within minutes and demonetized, all within minutes. And I could say that I had to deal with that for a couple of years, getting strikes almost every month. 2 strikes, right? 1 strike away from having the channel canceled, only to, you know, uh, in a nutshell, challenge, appeal, and by the grace of the Most High, I won every appeal. I even had this channel demonetized for no reason, right? They went back over and saw a video that they approved, even approved during the monetization process, and then said that it violates community guidelines or whatever the case may be. A video that's multiple videos that's been sitting there, some videos as long as over a year. And so they flagged it and gave me a strike because they said it violated community guidelines, but they approved the video. So I want to make sure you guys understand this, because many of you guys may not be content creators. So you probably say, what's the big deal? But I'm sure some of you guys that are who have YouTube channels, social media sites, you understand and you know exactly where I'm going at. And I've had this done to me a number of times. That's why I don't do Facebook like I used to, because Facebook completely shut me down. I used to have a high following on Facebook, do a live. It was guaranteed I was going to have a large amount of people watching my videos. But then suddenly, I started getting kicked out after 3 minutes of going live. And the video display was far as the quality of the video was so pixelated. It made it look as if I was using a 28K modem, like I was using an AOL connection. You guys know what I'm talking about, some of you guys from the old school. So this is a big deal, family. This is what's called suppression, shadow banning, suppressing content creators. And for those that are in this awakening, you guys know what I'm talking about. Remember, guys, some of you guys, I see my sister Ashonda, that's in the chat, and I'll drop the link inside the comment section if you want to jump on once I get into bring a couple of things out. She'll tell you it was almost every month. I was regularly in the account being suspended, me being in YouTube jail. And I can tell you, and I have the smoking gun, so to speak, to prove and substantiate my not a theory, what I believe, how YouTube use monetization and those things to try to suppress people's voices. Sites like ours, people that are teaching what we teach, but yet we're supposed to be in a country, living in a country that it's supposed to be freedom of speech. That's part of the constitutional rights, right? But there's only one group of people that doesn't apply to. They are specifically targeting certain platforms. And I saw the video, and I got to see if I can find it, when Candace Owens said a video that she went through all the approvals of YouTube, just like all of us can relate to. They confirmed it, they approved it, monetized it. She put it out there, got over 1 million views. And then later, they came back and took the video down. Because of what? A particular group who has tens of thousands of people, they can target a particular channel and have their people file complaints. So, family, this is how, when I say they, social media, they are in cahoots with a certain community to suppress certain topics, certain conversations. And don't think that Rumble is free from it. Don't think that TikTok is free from it. Guess what? I can't even post TikTok videos on TikTok, every time you turn around, they literally not allowing it to post. Others have posted my clips from my own videos, no problem. Other people have more of my content on TikTok. I didn't even know I had a lot of content on TikTok by other users of We Woke Now material, We Woke Now teachings, and I can't even post my own teachings. And I know some of you guys would say, well, a better solution would be start our own. Guess what? I have, and I'm working on it right now. And others have tried it, but guess what? When you start understanding the technology side, when you start understanding router and switching, you have what is called access list. That when you start dealing with the internet provider, they can literally target and throttle your data based upon and putting you inside an access list and throttle your data connections. It's so many different layers to this, family. So many different layers. So I know some of you guys are probably asking, why is she suspended? Why did they put multiple strikes even after they approved her videos? Some of you content creators know what I'm talking about. That's right. Hebrew Connect was a victim of that. Of a certain group of people that you cannot talk about, security company, right? This is when you start understanding, when you start dealing with virus definitions, when you start dealing with securities in terms of, what's that, like virus programs, like what's some of the ones I'm trying to think of, Norton's and some of the others that are pretty prominent. They have what is called virus definitions. In other words, those virus definitions, in other words, it's like a update of security things for that has a list of items to such as restricted sites, things that are on the restricted list, all kinds of things that, when you start understanding Tenable, I'm not trying to get too geeked out here, but that is all included in there. So, for example, Hebrew Connect had a foreign company from the community that you cannot talk about. They were part of that community and literally listed them, reached out to the virus programs, companies like Norton, some of those other big companies, Tenable, and reached out to them and literally said that site is promoting or have malicious code on it. So what happens if you have a virus program like a Norton or whatever you may use, and you go to that site, your virus program is going to say this site has malicious code on it, and it's going to block it. Family, that's how these companies, this is how they suppress information. This is how they suppress whomever they are targeting. So I want to make sure you guys understand this, family. So let's go ahead and touch on a couple of things. Malcolm X said this: if you aren't careful, the newspapers will have you hating the people who are being oppressed and loving the people who are doing the oppressing. Let me say that again. If you are not careful, if you aren't careful, the newspapers will have you hating the people who are being oppressed and loving the people who are doing the oppressing. And he said this back in the 60s. He said this back in the 60s. And we see this being played out right now before our eyes. There's a certain group of people that you can't talk about. There's a certain group of people you cannot talk about. They could talk about you even if you use their sources. You use their sources. That's considered anti-Semitic. You use their sources. They will label that person as being a hater of their own community, as a way of countering whatever sources or whatever things that that person may have said. So this is what Malcolm X said back in the 60s. Now, family, if you agree with this, if this has validity, if you see that this is true, holds weight, type one in the comment section. Type one inside the comment section. So this is coming from Candace Owens' X account. And this is what she posted. She posted, matter of fact, let me see here. I'll read this here. It says, thus far, I have had 0 strikes on my YouTube creators account. I have now been inundated with 3 back-to-back content hits within minutes, plus an email that I am now fully demonetized. We all know exactly who is behind this and why. And she posted screenshots. And as you see here, this is from today, 1:50 p.m., 1:49, 1:49, 3 items here that have been taken down, removed. And the thing about it is, when YouTube removes something, they don't really give you any information. They just remove the video. They don't tell you what section of the video. And I've had this done to me several times. I've actually had an interview that I was doing on this platform of a virologist who was discussing the pandemic, and YouTube literally shut down the interview right in. Literally shut down the live stream, and then gave me strikes. So 3 back to back. And family, for those that don't understand really what's going on here from a content creator, you get 3 strikes. These when they remove content like this, that's 3 strikes right there. 3 strikes and you're out. This is not a warning, because they already took down a previous video of hers. So that was the warning. So she has 3 videos here. 3 videos here that was removed. And this is what she received here in, that's within the email. This is what you will see here. But this is the email she received. I received this email before. Suddenly, I got a strike, and then I couldn't contest it. And within, 2 or 3 days later, not even 2 or 3 days later, actually within the same, a few hours later, I got this monetization email just like hers. A video that's been sitting on my channel for over a year. They removed it and said it violates community policies, gave me a strike. And then when I wouldn't even allow me to appeal it. And then when I, even with the whole monetization thing, they demonetized my channel, and I tried to appeal it. They wouldn't even let me appeal that. I can just give you some stuff. I can't even do shorts. Have you guys noticed I don't even do shorts, because that feature is not even available to me to do. Certain things I didn't have options open up. They didn't even give me the monetization options until I hit almost 37,000 subscribers, when you're supposed to get that at 1,000, also 4,000 views or video or whatever, views on your video, something to that effect. I didn't even have that option to go, or monetization option. I was suspended for 5 months in YouTube jail for 5 months. Only thing I could do is post a comment in the comments. In the community section. So this is what she received here. Due to violations of the YouTube Partners Program policies, including our ad-friendly guidelines and community guidelines, the Candace Owens channel has been suspended from the YouTube Partners Program. Examples of this includes the community guidelines violations outlined above, along with our ad-friendly guidelines. So again, This happened to her channel. This happened to my channel the same way. Only difference is I didn't get 3 strikes. I got 2. And mysteriously, I got monetized again about 7 or 8 months later. That's a whole nother discussion. So for me, I'm not pressed for it. Why? Because I earn a good living. Other, Candace Owens earn a good living. Other content creators earn a good living, but not everyone are in that position. You have some content creators that this is their livelihood. Can you imagine those that are using this as a means to make this is all they have, and then they have to be fearful or scared, so to speak, of being demonetized at any moment or shadow banned? So I just want to make sure you guys understand this, family. And I know that don't be surprised if they start messing with my connections and all that. It tends to happen when I start dealing with these type of discussions here. So she got 3 videos taken down. Now I'm not sure if they completely suspended her account, because you get 3 videos taken down. That's 3 strikes per video. Not sure how they're handling that. I know she has a legal team. Unfortunately, most don't have legal teams like she may have or have privy to be able to fight back on some of this stuff here. Most are not privy to that. So this is how they manipulate content creators. This is how they manipulate. Have you noticed that, as long as our community are bashing one another, you don't get any strikes? Long as we bashing one another, you got comedians bashing other comedians, basketball players bad mouthing other basketball players. As long as we are bashing each other, hey, that's good. That's good. You get all kinds of views and recommendations, gossip. But when you start really teaching the things we need to be teaching, discussing the things that we really need to discuss, you have problems. So I want to take you to this article here. This by USA.com, right? And it's titled, YouTube continues to push dangerous videos to users susceptible to extremism. White supremacy reports find February 14th, 2021. Why am I bringing this up? Because it's some things here that really stood out about this article that I want to read to you. It says here, we have clear policies that prohibit hate speech and harassment on YouTube, and terminated over 235,000 channels in the last quarter for violating those policies. YouTube's Joseph said. Beyond removing content since 2019, we've also limited the reach of content that does not violate our policies, but brushes up against it. In other words, what they're saying here, that even though you may not be in violation, but you're like you're close, they can't take you down because you're really not violating technically their policies. But, because you are teaching certain things, because you are in that area, so to speak, they can do things to limit, as you see here, the reach, even though you're not violating when you talk about certain communities. But because certain communities are working hand in hand with them, establishing their policies, guess what? They can say, okay, even though you didn't violate any of the YouTube, I would say guidelines, community guidelines, but they can still, if you're teaching certain things, like the generic term anti-Semitism, if you teaching what they deem to be anti-Semitic, guess what? They can, instead of canceling your channel, they can do certain things like limit your reachability, as this is what this is saying here. It says, since 2019, we've also limited the reach of content that violates or that does not violate our policies, but brushes up against the line by making sure our systems are not widely recommending it to those not seeking it. See, this is where you start getting into what is called the algorithms, which is a just a glorified term for a set of conditional statements that are used to monitor different accounts. They can say, okay, if you're teaching certain things, let's just say uh, those that are in this awakening and you're teaching, let's just say Deuteronomy 28. Guess what? They can take Deuteronomy 28 and have that included in their filters, included it into their algorithms, that any videos that says Deuteronomy 28, guess what? We're going to make sure it's suppressed to the point that it's not going to come up in recommendations. It's not going to come up in any let's just say the notifications. They can have it so that way the notifications, even though you can have your notifications checked, they can uncheck your notifications. And I proved that when I was trying to premiere a video, The Road to Savannah, and they were literally unchecking the notifications. So it's a number of different things that they can do to limit your reach. So it says here, by making sure our systems are not widely recommending it to those not seeking it. But why it has taken one of the world's largest companies so long to reach the growing problem of homegrown extremism perplexes researchers, right? So, and that's the key, family. It's very subjective. And this is why this video clip that I played, let me play it here. Let me see here. This video that I played, video clip, and I encourage you guys, go back and watch the full video, right? I think her name is, matter of fact, let me just play it real quick and then we'll talk about it more.
So we're supposed to we're just being told that anti-Semitism is now criticizing Israel. Anti-Semitism is anything they want it to be. They can't even define it. They admit in this bill that they've passed through the House that there's really truly no actual protection for Jews, but they're just making it up as they go because they want to say, well, but Semites, which we shouldn't even be using that word anymore because most Jews who practice the religion of Judaism or who are culturally Jewish, even if they don't practice the Jewish religion, but they're culturally Jewish, like many are culturally Christian. Many of us celebrate Christmas, but we're not Christian. That's cultural Christianity. It is what it is, right? They can't define it. They're putting all these rules on us. We shouldn't even allow them to use the term anti-Semitism. It's not real. Most of these Jews are not Semites.
So her name is Kim Iverson, and she just did a video when she was interviewing someone who had his entire channel shut down because he was teaching history about World War II. Channel shut down. She literally says that because of how YouTube had things set up, they can make changes right now to their community guidelines and then go back to old videos and then say, hey, that video violates the new community guidelines, not grandfathering anything over, but now can say, all right, we got this new community guidelines that was created, modified. Let's just say anyone that has the number one inside any of their video description or say number one in their videos, guess what? For now on, we're going to say that is a community violation and we're going to give you a strike. We're going to take down that video. Well, guess what? Now they could go back to your old videos that's been sitting there for years and take those videos down and give you a strike. So she said, in a nutshell, that she might as well just go back over any videos that's older than 3 months and just remove it. Out of what? Fear of having their channel completely shut down. See, family, You have to understand politics is a lot deeper than what you see. When you start getting into all this deregulation of everything, guess what? One of the things that got deregulated when you start dealing with the internet, when you start dealing with social media, all of that is deregulated. This is why now it costs more with, see how, look at how things are. It costs more for you to have these different apps. For example, Amazon Prime. And then within Amazon Prime, if you want to have Hulu or whatever case may be, you want to see certain shows, before you know it, you get Amazon Prime, you get Hulu, you get MGM, whatever your favorite shows start. Now they can itemize every single thing. And before you know it, you're paying even more because you still have to pay for your internet. And your internet can be, let's just say, $70, $80 a month just for basic internet. Then if you want to have, a certain speed, then you have to pay for whatever tier you fall up under. Then that's not even counting the channel. That's all part of that whole plan to deregulate the deregulations. Have you guys noticed that, family? Have you guys noticed that? You call yourself saving money, man. Internet is not internet, cable TV is so expensive now. Direct TV is so expensive now. $130, $145 a month for just even basic plans. So you decided that, hey, you know what? I'm just gonna stream what I want. So you just went on and say, I'm gonna just pay for my internet. And then you get, let's say if you get YouTube TV. YouTube TV is like $80 just for the basics. So $80 for YouTube TV, and let's just say $60 for basic high-speed internet. So you're spending what? $140. Family, that's how they're hustling. That is part of deregulation. And I know many of you guys may not understand the ramification when you start dealing with certain groups, whether it's Democrats or Republicans. I know the Republicans are big on deregulation. Donald Trump, deregulation. Democrats good on are big on creating programs. But guess what? They have their flaws. Both of them have flaws. But these are the things that you have to pay attention to, because you have a certain group of people that have influence on both sides, whether it's the Democrats, the Republicans, whether it's independents, whether it's the House, whether it's the Senate, all the way up to the Supreme Court. It's a certain group of people that have influence right across the board. So you guys know what I'm talking about. That's all the hustle. Healthcare. Think about the hustle of healthcare. This is all part of that plan, that strategy. Family, can you imagine a hustle now over the past 20 years? You have to pay for your deductible. Your insurance doesn't really kick in until you for what the first up to the first what, depending on what your plan is, it could be 6,000, it could be 8,000, it could be 15,000. So your insurance doesn't kick in until you hit that minimum deductible of 15, let's say 15,000 or 8,000 for some of you guys, right? But yet you're paying astronomical monthly fees, like let's just say for a family plan, husband and wife, you could be paying $500, $600. And if you're a contractor, independent contractor, you could be spending $1,100, $1,200 a month just on medical insurance. And then you still have to have a special savings account that you have to have additional monies coming out because your deductible may be high. Let's just say $6,000, $7,000 before it kick in. So you have to have money on top of that, that you put into a special savings plan, a savings account, so that way when you go to the doctor and they say, hey, this doctor requires you to cover a certain percentage of the bill, instead of you trying to be pressed for cash, now you're pulling money out of monies that you have to save inside this special account. Now think about that. Some of you guys are paying $8,000 right? $6,000 to $8,000 a year on medical insurance, and you still have to deal with a high deductible of $9,000 before that medical plan kicks in, and then you have to get a special spending account on top of that. Come on, family, this is the stuff that you guys need to start really talking about and discussing. It's a hustle, family. It is a hustle. But anyway, not trying to get into all the politics, but I'm going to drop a link here. I saw Sister Shonda in the comment section. If you want to jump on, feel free to do so. But I'm going to move forward with what I want to deal with some key points. Let me see here. All right. Let me drop this in the link. Sister Shonda, if you're still watching, the link is inside the comment section for those that are far as if my cousin Manaya in the building, feel free to jump on. So I want to make this clear, family. Anyone else outside of those people, try to jump on. I'm not going to bring you on. All right. Because I don't want to get into all of have this a lengthy live here tonight. So why was she suspended? You know why she was suspended. See, it was okay for Candace Owens to say what she had to say about BLM, say what she said about Breonna Taylor. You know, it was okay for her to really go in on, different people from within our community. But once she started dealing with a specific community, things shifted. It was okay for her to say that she didn't like, as far as how she talked about George Floyd, right? It was okay for her to share her viewpoints on George Floyd. It was okay for her to share her viewpoints on Black Lives Matter. It was okay for her to share her viewpoints on Breonna Taylor. It was okay for her to share, just viewpoints that completely disrespected our community. It was okay. And even some of the those from that other community slipped up and even said that she was okay. She was doing good, but then she, all of a sudden, according to them, that she's on this anti-Semitic a path. One of the people that said that, and I didn't have time to put their clip in here, was this guy right here. You guys know this person right here. Let me play it here. This person who said that they was excited about their discussion shifted after the discussion. He made it a point. He did a whole video stating about his concerns about Candace Owens. Said she was saying a lot of good stuff until she started what? In a nutshell, discussing things within that community. This person right here.
By the way, my friend and colleague, Rabbi Shmuley, is scheduled to debate Candace Owens on Piers Morgan Uncensored tonight. So I shot him a note with some thoughts and suggestions, and I imagine it's going to be pretty lively and pretty intense. So may the truth triumph. Maybe we'll play some excerpts. I'm sure the smoke is going to be rising there. Maybe we'll play some excerpts next week. A few thoughts on the debate that aired yesterday on Piers Morgan Uncensored between Rabbi Shmuley Boteach and Candace Owens. I'm not going to do a deep dive on that, but a few comments I do want to make and play one representative clip for you. What
we're going to do right here is go back.
Maybe we'll play some excerpts. I'm sure the smoke is going to be rising there. Maybe we'll play some excerpts next week. A few thoughts on the debate that aired yesterday on Piers Morgan Uncensored between Rabbi Shmuley Boteach and Candace Owens. I'm not going to do a deep dive on that, but a few comments I do want to make and play one representative clip for you. Yep. Hey, Mom, Dad, have you ever had that with your kids? Say something nice about your brother or your sister?
So, family, that's what he said in the end. Initially, he said he was going to upload clips, have discussions. In the end, he said he's not going to discuss. And The last last sentence you heard him say, "Hey, mom, this is what happens when you have your two kids," or something to that effect. Apologize to each other. Got my sister Shonda that's on here. Sister Shonda, welcome aboard, my sister. I know it's been a while since we had opportunity to do a live together, but what's your thoughts of what you heard thus far?
Grace and peace, Pastor Kelly. Good to be on. I think the last time we talked, it was face to face. I know. I think We talked a little bit on the phone before that, but it was face to face in Richmond uh, at your assembly, Passion for Reconciliation. If y'all in the Richmond, VA area, y'all definitely need to check Pastor Kelly out. It was an honor being there with his beautiful wife Serena and the congregation. My husband and I, you already know, the worship was amazing, the teaching was amazing, and the Ruach Hakodesh was present. So, just glad to be on with you again. And shalom, family, shalom. Um, my thoughts in regards to the Candace Owens situation, and I apologize if y'all hear the crickets in the background. I live in the VI, so we got a lot of wildlife out here. Uh, but my thoughts about the situation with Candace Owens is, you know, this is a complex matter because we've watched her over the years um, in her evolutionary process. We watched her from her start, where she, before she became the darling of the Republican Party, she was a struggling content creator trying to push a leftist agenda. And from there, she switched her political positions. She says there's reasons why she did it, but she took her rise in the political sphere once she became a conservative and once she spouted conservative values, which is nothing wrong with having conservative values, but she did it in a way to communicate that the people of her own ethnicity were degenerate in nature only. There was nothing positive that she spoke about the people in her own community, and that was really the beginning of her rise. And she made quite a name for herself among evangelicals, among Protestants and Catholics, among secular conservatives and Republicans for quite a while. And she got the attention of people like David Horowitz, who began to fund her career, her commentary career. And eventually she landed her spot on the Daily Wire, and she began to branch out from political commentary to dealing with topics concerning the entertainment industry. And she just began to rise in fame. But once she connected with Kanye West, and he became very expressive after Kyrie Irving obviously tweeted the tweet that got him in trouble with Hebrews to Negroes, that's when things began to go downhill for her. That's when things began to go downhill. And I think that she's had a crisis of conscience since that time. And she's tried to be cool and collected, but she was able to see, because as a young person, oftentimes when you're very ambitious, you can be very one-sided and focused specifically on your own goals. But once she got behind the scenes in the inner workings of how the media worked, she's able to see the bias. She's able to see that as long as she's talking about and being negative towards her own ethnic group, that she was the darling, that she was loved, that she was funded. But as she's seeing things and witnessing things and hearing things behind the scenes and saying this isn't matching up, and she begins to try to balance the narrative from other groups, the powers that should not be, the ones who are paying her bills, then all of a sudden it's a problem. And so we know what happened. We know that eventually, after making 3 million subscribers on the Daily Wire, she was booted off of the show. She was once termed to be very intellectual, very intelligent, articulate. And then afterwards, she was termed to be inarticulate, unintelligent, and of course, the big A word, anti Semitic. So I don't believe that they anticipated her being able to quickly get the platform of over 2 million subscribers that she did with. And I'm assuming, I think it was been about just a few months after leaving the Daily Wire. And she felt like she could let her hair down a little bit and now dig in and dissect what was going on within the walls of Zionism. But she was in so deep that she didn't realize just how deep that she was in. She didn't realize what these people are really like. Revelation 2:9 and 3:9 is there for a reason. And I believe, Pastor Kelly, and then I will digress. I believe that it was the interview that she did on Piers Morgan, where she communicated Revelation 3:9 to Rabbi Shmuley that resulted in these 3 strikes. That
And
resulted
sis,
in the
let
immediate
me play that real
demonetization.
quick. Let me play
Okay.
that real quick because that was going to be my point that I was going to
Mm-hmm.
make. But let me play that and
Uh-oh.
you can continue because
Okay.
that's what I really believe in the way that she delivered it. You know, because it was okay for him to say or suggest that uh made reference to him basically being worshipped as the Messiah. But here it is. This is what Sister Shonda is referring to. Also, shout outs to my cousin Benaiah, who just came into the building. We'll have some words from him as well as we come back after this clip plays. Here we go.
And here's what I would like to say to you, Rabbi, since you're quoting scripture, okay? The one that's relevant to me is woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness. And if you'd like to dive into a little more scripture, I think what's relevant is Revelation 3:9. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. And I'm speaking directly to you, Rabbi Shmuley. Revelation 3:9. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie.
Revelation 3:9. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie.
And I'm speaking directly to you, Rabbi Shmuley. And I'm speaking directly to you, Rabbi Shmuley.
And I'm speaking directly to you, Rabbi Shmuley.
The fact that you would try to say, I am Jewish and this is what I believe, and do and say the things that you are doing. People can see and hear evil, and what you are doing right now is an act of evil. The lies that you are telling, not just on me, but also on my family members, are a good example for the world to see what we are referring to when we call something radical.
And real quick, family, I saw a lot of reactionary videos about that interview. I mean, about that debate. And I would say 99% was in favor of Candace Owens. But they didn't talk about this portion of it. They didn't talk about what she said here. They didn't even play this portion of what she said to him, because her response, real quick, was based off of what Rabbi Shmuley said in this here leading up to it. Here it is. It's just a quick clip.
Rabbi Shmuley, I'm interrupting because you've now
wait, just
you've now been speaking for 3 minutes.
One final point.
So Candace will get exactly the same amount of time. It's up to you, but it's an opening statement, right? And what I would say,
May I just say finally, if I may?
Well, if it's quick,
The biggest issue I have with Candace, to be honest, is that she claims to be a Christian. Candace, didn't Jesus say you're supposed to love your enemies? Is the love you show me that you call me filth twice on the last show that you did with Pierce a piece of filth? You're supposed to love your enemies. Is that turning the other cheek? And Pierce, you're an English gentleman. I've known you for many years. You allowed her to say that without even a piece of filth. When Jesus said that you're supposed to turn the other cheek, where have you ever turned the other cheek? When Jesus said that the meek shall inherit the earth, the arrogance, the nonstop attack against Jews, the demonization. If you are a Christian, then I am the second coming of Christ.
Okay.
So that's what led up to that exchange that she came back with the scripture. So he insulted her. I mean, big time. So, and he doesn't even believe in Christ, family. That's the key. He don't believe in Christ. He don't believe in Christ. Matter of fact, if I had it up, this is the attitude, and Sister Shonda, I'll let you continue. This is the attitude of many of the Jewish community as we know them. Like the Dr. Browns expressed similar comments to what I'm getting ready to play here. And it's no coincidence of what he mentioned about basically being looked at as Christ based upon Candace Owens' comments. But this is a clip. Listen to this clip of what this particular rabbi is stating to this Christian pastor.
And you know what else, Jim? I just want to say this to our Christian friends, you know, just to call it as it is and say it straight out, you know, you guys are worshiping one Jew. That's a mistake. You should be worshiping every single one of us, because we all die for your sins every single day. And that's exactly what's going on here. Yeah. We're all God's firstborn, and we're dying for your sins right now because the Jewish people in the land of Israel are the bulwark against the orcs. Mm-hmm. Okay? The orcs are coming not to a theater near you, but to your home.
All right. So it's so much more I can upload in that with others sharing that same sentiment. Dr. Brown shared something similar to that in terms of how the Christians should be holding his community to a much higher regard because of saying that his community gave us Christ and a number of other things. Not going to get into it. But Sister Shonda, go ahead and I'm going to give you the floor to continue with your thought, and then I'll bring in Benaiah.
Shalom to Brother Benaiah Israel as well. You know, when I hear that clip, every time I hear it, I feel like throwing up in my mouth a little. It is so blasphemous. It is the epitome of blasphemy. And the fact that they can so freely and comfortably say the things that they say without with understanding that there's not going to be any kind of real backlash. But why not? Because they own the media. They are the ones censoring. So they can say what they want to say, and they can put in their publications what they want to put in their publications. But as you said earlier, if you were to extract information from their own publication and just repeat it, then you are considered the anti-quote unquote Semite. And this propaganda is at the forefront of society today because of the mass media. We are able to clearly see the hypocrisy. And so what happened with Candace Owens, there's a part of me that's a little bit surprised, because I didn't trust her. And I'm not saying that I still do trust her. I do believe that she still deals with handlers. I do believe that she still has a double mind in many ways. But because of that inner wrestle with the truth, with the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help her Yah, she is finding herself very much in the same predicament that many content creators, as you said and expressed tonight, that what you've gone through, I know what I've gone through. My little old channel, thank you, Yah, for my 11,000 subscribers, but it's been hit multiple times with strikes. But we've gone through this, and many other content creators have gone through this. And of course, we know that Ron Dalton Jr. was one of the first Israelites to completely be taken off of YouTube altogether and off of multiple platforms for the truth, the very thing that she's talking about. So we've seen this playbook before, but for her, how will she recover? That is the question. How will she recover? Where will she pivot? Where will she go next? What will she do? Will she finally get to the point where she is accepting of the fact that you cannot bite the hand that feeds you? You have to determine whether or not you want to be fed by that system at all, or whether or not you truly want to be fed from the one who brings manna down from the heavens. So she has to determine which way she's going to go, because she can't walk both lines. She can't be a fence rider. So if she's going to go all the way, then she needs to go all the way. She's very provocative and very communicative with the things that she says, but there's still a hesitancy. And so she needs to determine whether or not she's going to say Rabbi Shmuley, Revelation 3:9, or she's going to say every one of you who are descendants out of Eastern Europe, out of the Japhetic line and the Edomic line, the line of the Edomites, you fit the category. of those who call yourselves what you are not, but do lie. You have stolen the lineage of the true Yahudim. You've stolen our lineage, and I want my lineage back. Okay, I digress. Thank you.
Appreciate it, sis, for those comments. And and to your point, and just even as you pointed out with Candace Owens, I believe that when I see where she's at now, I think that there is a struggle with all the information that she knows and she's presented. And we understand, I understand trying to be strategic on how you present the information, but then at the same time, you just got to say, just put it out there if you're really going to take that complete plunge. If you're going to dive in versus being lukewarm. So I completely understand. I think all of us have been in that position of when we came outside of Christianity, came outside of the church, right? And when you really learned and really discovered that you can have Christ without Christianity, you can have Christ without Catholicism, you can have Christ without Judaism, you can have Christ without Islam, you can have a relationship, you can understand the true tenets of the scriptures without these so-called Abrahamic faiths that are man-made, that was not created by any of them. So definitely understand and really appreciate you sharing those thoughts. And got my cousin here, Benaya. Any thoughts that you want to share? I know you've been waiting in the background, but going to go ahead and open up the floor to you.
Hey, peace and blessings, fam. Peace and blessings, Sister Ashonda. Hopefully everybody's doing good. Yeah, actually, it's funny because today I was working on a clip of Sister, or I call it Sister Candace Owens, and in the clip, I actually going to play a little bit of it at 10 p.m. tonight, most high willing, but I didn't actually get all of it in there because within this clip is actually to Sister Ashonda's point, she admitted in her own tongue that she's learning. Right, because like after that Kanye interview, because she did the Kanye interview, she sat on it for 2 years, before she released it. Like this year has been like her year. Pastor Kelly, we talked about who's going to be the next Kyrie Irving's when it comes to this awakening. But we must say that whether you like her or not, sister. I mean, I keep calling her sister. Candace Owens, she has been in the forefront of just whether or not you can pull out clips or whatever she thinks that she's saying. She has been right there. And one of the things that I saw in one of her previous videos, and that was she said that, and she was talking about her video or her interview with Kanye West. She said, well, you know what, that when the interview happened, it was late at night, and we were both sleepy, and Kanye, he said a bunch of stuff, and I didn't really understand it at first, and she was just saying that afterwards, I went and read, and I learned some stuff, and this was in a follow-up video to that video, right? So in the follow-up video, she said, she starts off by saying stuff, kind of just to paraphrase. She was like, well, I learned a lot, and since talking to Kanye, I've learned about the Khazars. I did, the whole Khazar stuff. I've learned a lot of that. And of course, I'm at work when I'm hearing this. I'm like, whoa, that's part of that transition, right? I believe she is going through that transition period, of figuring out who's who, and I truly believe that's where that comment of for Rabbi Shmuley came from was a leapfrog from that previous video where she said, I'm learning, and then, hey, I've learned about the Khazars. Then all of a sudden, 10 videos later, she's calling Rabbi Shmuley, she's reading that Revelations 3:9. I don't think that's coincident. I think that's all part of her learning process.
And to your point, because we definitely know that's not coincidental, especially when you, I guess when she got her freedom from the Daily Wire and she started, focusing on her own independent channel, man, she came out swinging. The videos that she's been teaching on, been doing, especially giving clarity with history and things like that. It's like, wow. But before we continue, family, I want to play some pastors making comments about Revelation 3 and 9, because I know that by the media and certain spaces, they will give you the impression that it's only the Hebrew Israelites that are using Revelation 2 and 9 and Revelation 3 and 9 in the manner that we see today. But I'm going to play two evangelical pastors real quick here. It's a quick clip, about 40 seconds in length, and listen to what they say about Revelation 3 and 9. Here we go.
And so when he's saying he's coming to redeem, while he would say, redeem Israel, O God, out of all their troubles. First thing they need to be redeemed at, more dangerous than Hamas, more dangerous than Muslim neighbors, are internal these, and there's another biblical name, these who say they are Jews and are not.
I was going to ask you about that. Revelation 3:8, I think. I was going to ask you that question. Does that refer to this time, or can it refer to this time?
It can. It's Revelation 3:9. Indeed, I will make those of the synagogue of Satan who say they are Jews and are not, but lie. Yeah. And there's a different application for it.
Okay, so I want to make sure you guys hear that, because those are evangelical pastors, very popular in their space. Just to make sure no one is trying to point fingers at our community and say, hey, that's the Hebrew Israelites that are teaching that. No, you have pastors, you have people that want to say certain things. I even had a clip of a judge. I don't have it in here available right now because my hard drive is upstairs, who actually makes the same reference. And he was told by the professor that was in discussion with him, suggesting like, hey, let's not go there, because of knowing the backlash of sharing those type of thoughts. All right. So I just wanted to make sure you guys understand that this is not something that is just being made up. This is not just views of what was deemed a Hebrew Israelite talking point, but the impact, though, of Candace Owens' interview, because it's not with one rabbi. She did two rabbis, Rabbi Barkley earlier this year, Rabbi Shmuley, who's been railing against her for 2 years. She held her own. Actually, we got to be real. She shut them down in both of her debates with them, to the point that you have Rabbi Barkley sounding like this.
I was like, a hawk. Girl, right? Oh, no.
Exactly.
Right?
And the bird did what?
Ooh, I said, bird, get back. Fly up, fly away.
Yeah.
Be gone, bye. Up in the sky. Nice try. Bye.
Correction, not Rabbi Barkley, but Rabbi Shmuley. All right. So I just want to point that out. There's another thing I want to point out to give clarity to, give sources behind what my sister Shonda pointed out about the media, who controls it. And I'm going to show you a Jewish source back in 2008. Someone wrote a paper on this, wrote an article about this for the LA Times. Joel Stein. We'll deal with that in a second. But go ahead, cuz you got the floor again.
Oh, yeah. Well, just to land back, like I said, just on what Sister Shonda was talking about, and kind of what you was talking about there too, Pastor Kelly. I don't know if you guys noticed or not, but when you played the interview of I take it back. It wasn't an interview. It was the back and forth with Candace and Shmuley, right, on Pierce. If you go back and look at that video and watch Candace's watch her mannerisms, watch her facial expressions. I couldn't help but looking at that saying, if that was anybody else, you would have all kinds of twisted lips, raised eyebrows, cocked head, right? Like, just what we would think would be the natural expressions of somebody that's being called, all these names to their face, right? And just seeing this getting this hypocrisy from this rabbi, right? But she was like, her facial expression, it was almost like a robot, like beep, burp, beep. And then she just replied back, right? And it's almost, so said all that to say, family, it looks like, when you look back at that, you can't help but think that she was like made for that. Like for this time, for that interview, for that purpose, like that was, I believe that's what she was made for. Not to say that, she's this grandiose figure or anything. I just saying that she was made to do that. Right. But and like I said, cuz if you ever get a chance, go back and take a look at that, because you'll find out that she did not show like almost any emotions at all, like no expressions at all. But
I took my notes. I took my notes, paid attention to that, because it wasn't just with that, but it was with her initial discussion with Rabbi Barkley.
Right.
And what many don't know, that she was supposed to have a discussion with Shapiro from the Daily Wire, and they worked their way out of that discussion. They were supposed to have a debate, to discuss whatever they were going to discuss and debate whatever they were going to debate. But nevertheless, her calm demeanor, and I think that she was underestimated. And I think that many can learn from the way that she presented her information. But I will say this: there are Christian spaces that are now talking about her and how she handled that whole debate with Rabbi Shmuley, and how disrespectful he was to her in that debate. They're referring to her calm demeanor and staying the course. So it's echoing in these YouTube streets and other spaces, so to speak. So, and the other point I want to really make real quick, family, and I'm not, defending Candace Owens. I'm not doing any of that, but I do want to make sure that we put things in this proper perspective, because guess what? Apostle Paul murdered his own people. And guess what? The Israelites, starting with the disciples, they were looking at him side-eye too. When he started speaking, his conversations changed. So yes, not telling you guys to let your guards down. No, I'm going to keep looking at her and others with a side eye. You know what I mean? You have to, that's only right, because of her track record. So that's in the scriptures. Apostle Paul was murdering his own people, persecuting his own people, and he had his Damascus Road experience. All right. But nevertheless, another thing that I want to point out real quick, just to show sources, this is coming from LA Times, Who Runs Hollywood. Come on, by Joel Stein, and it's dated December 19th, 2008. And I've been sharing this for years in my teachings. So it reads, Who Runs Hollywood? Come on. I have never been so upset by a poll in my life. Only 22% of Americans now believe the movie and television industries are pretty much run by Jews, down from nearly 50% in 1964. The Anti-Defamation League, which released the poll results last month, sees in these numbers a victory against stereotyping. Actually, it shows how dumb America has gotten. Jews totally run Hollywood. How deeply Jewish is Hollywood? When the studio chiefs took out a full-page ad in the Los Angeles Times a few weeks ago to demand that the Screen Actors Guild settle its contract, the open letter was signed by News Corp's president Peter Chernin, Jewish, Paramount Pictures chairman Brad Gray, Jewish, Walt Disney co-chief executive Robert Iger, Jewish, Sony Pictures chairman Michael Linton, Surprise Dutch Jewish, Warner Brothers chairman Barry Mayer, Jewish, CBS Corp's chief executive Leslie Moonves, so Jewish. So Jewish. His great uncle was the first prime minister of Israel. MGM chairman Harry Sloan, Jewish, and NBC Universal chief executive Jeff Zucker, mega Jewish. If either of the, well, actually, it goes on to say, because I didn't put the full sentence here, but it goes on to say, the Jews are so dominant, I had to scour the trades to come up with 6 Gentiles in high positions at entertainment companies. When I called them to talk about their incredible advancement, 5 of them refused to talk to me, apparently out of fear of insulting Jews. The 6th, MC President Charlie Collier, turned out to be Jewish. All right. As a proud Jew, I want America to know about our accomplishments. Yes, we control Hollywood. Without us, you'd be flipping between the 700 Club and Davy and Goliath on TV all day. So I've been taking it upon myself to reconvince America that Jews run Hollywood by launching a public relations campaign, because that's what we do. I'm weighing several slogans, including Hollywood, more Jewish than ever. Hollywood, from the people who brought you the Bible, and Hollywood. If you enjoy TV, movies, then you would probably like Jews after all. So I just wanted to share sources, and I'm going to drop this link inside the comment section. Family, you know how we do. We don't like to just, say certain things without putting sources out there, to substantiate the claims. And it sounds a little bit like almost like Kanye West when he was actually being asked about the same thing about do we have any regrets about what he said about the name stealers, so to speak, runs everything, runs Hollywood. And he began to go right down the list. And before you know it, I was about to say Republicans, those reporters, they apologized. They changed their whole tune. All right. But this is the source that I'm reading from. Vet it. Feel free to vet the information. All right. I'll open it up to you guys. Anything that you want to touch on, guys? I see your slide here, Benea. I'll go ahead and share it here. Sister Shonda, anything you want to share?
Yeah. I don't think that anybody who has been studying the word and who has been awakened is surprised to hear that. But I love what he said about showing how dumb Americans are, because this idea that, oh, you don't want to offend the Jewish people by telling the truth is something that Candace Owens said the other day as she was going over the commentary of the after debate. And she said it's interesting that Brother Benea brought up her poise and, her character and how she was able to, in the face of being disrespected, still keep her poise and her tact. But when she was on her channel, you could see the disgust as she shared about how they do lie. She intentionally said Revelation 3:9 because she talked about how they lie so much that it's like the relief that comes over them is the same type of relief that when you're convicted about telling the truth and you tell the truth, and you get like that moment, like I finally got this off my chest. She said they lie the way that we tell the truth. She said that they can't process their day-to-day lives without lying. And so the way she communicated that, it just really spoke volumes. It spoke volumes as to why the Messiah chose to use those words specifically in Revelation 2:9 and 3:9. Because here it is, this man is saying, okay, we've convinced only 22% of Americans believe that we run Hollywood, when in fact, we run all of Hollywood, so much to the point where only 5 executives are non-Jewish, and they're too scared to even admit it so that they don't offend the Jewish people. Now, the question that I am asking, and I've been asking this for a while, is how can you be both oppressor and oppressed at the same time? How does that work exactly? So you run Hollywood, the media, you run the banking industry, you run all forms of communication, you run states, you are at the top of the political parties, both political parties, and yet you're the oppressed at the same time. That clip you played with Dr. Brown, I went on his channel, and right after he talked about the whole Candace Owens, Piers Morgan debate with Shmuley, he said, I also want to address a question that was asked of me of how it is that you can speak against voting Democrat because of abortion and LGBT, but you have no problem voting Republican and honoring the state of Israel, who also heavily promotes LGBT and abortion. So please explain that to me. And of course, he did the classic, well, we're God's chosen people and we have to stand with Israel because he's going to turn our hearts around. And that's totally different from acknowledging this left-wing political party that is clearly evil. So it's continual hypocrisy. It's just continual hypocrisy on all sides and continual lies. And they've been getting away with it for so long. But now all lies and liars are being exposed, laid out to the carpet. So I just wanted to share that.
Candace Owens, if you have someone that's listening, contact Sister Shonda. All right. No, I'm just joking, but great word.
No, I would love to have a conversation with her. I would absolutely love to. But hopefully if Yahuwah allows that to happen, that she won't be lukewarm anymore. She will be fully on fire.
Oh, she's on fire. I just think that, like Benea pointed out, just like what we all had to go through, processing is one thing, and I think you've been there, Benea's been there, and I know I've done this. You have it in your head, but it's trying to articulate what's in your head. And I believe we're witnessing her trying to articulate that, but also perfecting it because she has a gift, as you see, for debating. And it's just a lot of information. It's almost like you go through the matrix. Like, wait a minute, you mean to tell me it's certain things are completely the opposite of what I thought it was? You mean to tell me that, when we start getting into who's who, wait a minute, you mean to tell me that, wait a minute, the Lemba, the Igbos, Bambara, certain pieces of information that we were not privy to being inside the church. And I think that she's having her moment, as Benea expressed. And I saw the discussions that she had with Kanye West. I saw those discussions, and matter of fact, is others that have agreed with what some of the things that Kanye West said, including this person right here.
The entire Bible is about black people. Not only was Jesus black, but every character in the Bible seems to be black too. Yeah, Zephaniah and Jeremiah and Jebediah, those all aren't white people names, okay? And Jesus wasn't some tan, partially melanated Middle Eastern person either. I'm talking straight up black dude, okay? Even in the book of Revelation, when you get the vision of Daniel, he's describing someone with feet like burnt brass and white woolly hair, and we've got the deep running water voice with the red eyes, and you guys, he's black. The Jewish people are black people, like Kanye was right.
Just that I should, share that clip here since we were on the subject for those that are watching for the first time. Benea, you got the floor.
Well, just to kind of land back on on your comment about Candace Owens reaching out. I did reach out to Candace Owens just to put a little, now we do, because we dropped a little comment in her comment section out of the 1,000 or so comments in there. So who knows if she reads it or not. She actually read one of my comments before and gave her a reply. But I did reach out to her and just offered assistance. Like, if you plan on fighting this, have your lawyer talk to our lawyer. Let's team up on this, because as family, with the African Israelite Justice Foundation, right now we may not have the resources to be able to take on some of these huge corporations and entities, when it comes to social media. However, that doesn't stop us from doing what we call building exhibits. If you ever go into a court of law and you sat down in a court proceeding, and that they'll pull out something, oh, this is exhibit A, this is exhibit B, right? And so to that end, we've been watching YouTube for a long time. We have been gathering, information on YouTube as far as, in their own words. We have information showing the hypocrisy of the ADL, because the interesting thing about it, family, is like the ADL is behind all this. Like, I mean, back in like 2016, 2017, they started reaching out to these social media platforms, and then they started helping them craft their own what they're terming hate speech. So it was like, well, let us help you create these hate speech laws, right, or these policies. So it was the ADL that helped them to create it. Then after they created it, then the ADL's position was after that part, the next phase was enforcement. So in terms with YouTube, the ADL has a special partnership with YouTube where they have a direct line into YouTube where they can, report things and do certain other things to help try to get things shadow banned, right? And one of the things that, I've been trying to do in the back end is trying to get access to the data. You may not know, but I've filled out Freedom of Information Act requests, to get information from YouTube. Now, granted, Freedom of Information Acts are for citizens to get information from the government, but, we feel that there's government that's in play with YouTube. So we're trying to go that route to get the information. Really had, still working through that process. But there's ways of getting the data that we need. We can actually get some of the data that we were looking for from YouTube itself. I won't give too much information about that. Anyway, but long story short, family, the ADL helped YouTube create these laws, these policies. Then what they did was that they established a special relationship with YouTube to be able to report stuff, right? And then what they do is they say YouTube enforce this policy, and it's the policy that they help create, right? And it's one of the policies is this thing about the Jews running Hollywood, right? And this is where hypocrisy comes in, because they were so, like, the ADL was so effective in pushing this narrative about don't say that the Jews run Hollywood, that when they started building what you see on the screen is the Academy Museum. This is a museum where they're dedicating it to those who were the forefathers of Hollywood, basically. And when they created it, because of the ADL's influence, they didn't have the Jews mentioned in there. So guess who was upset when they were left out? Raised the big stink about it. It was all over the news and these editorials or whatnot. So then the museum had to stop. They had to create a special permanent exhibit. I believe like their exhibit is like the only permanent exhibit in this museum. And then, as you can see, when you first go, because this is new. I didn't realize that they updated the landing page, the homepage. When you go to the homepage, front and center on the homepage is just that about them being the founders. And oh, by the way, you can see off to the left, you can actually buy tickets to this thing. So they're actually selling tickets to show who runs Hollywood, and they're telling you themselves, right? But then on the other hand, they're giving people strikes and warnings on YouTube about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so this is, and we also have comments, because Jonathan Greenblatt, who is the CEO, president of the ADL, he actually did an editorial piece in the Hollywood Reporter, where he himself, in his own words, talks about the importance of what you're seeing on the screen about the Jews being the forefathers of Hollywood, or the founders of Hollywood. So all kinds of hypocrisy, family, and this is the sort of stuff where I truly believe if we were to get all this stuff in front of in the court of law, this will be hands down a victory, because I think Sister Shonda mentioned it about they speaking out both sides of their mouth. Literally, when it comes to this, like the stuff that they ding Candace Owens about, they're speaking out both sides of their mouth. So Most High willing, family, we'll take that two-sided mouth to court. So we'll see.
Oh, appreciate it. Appreciate it. I thought you was going to read some information from that. Anything? Did you want to read anything from? Or are you good?
No, I'm good. I mean, I do know that it even does have stuff about blackface on here. You probably have to dig in here to some of the exhibits. They actually had a little warning on there, but you know, and again, this is just one of those hypocrisy things where you talk about how this is supposed to be this whole vanguard against hate. Like they don't want you to don't hate anybody, don't talk bad about anybody. But then on this page that's talking, that where you can see that it's talking about the Jewish founders, there's also an exhibit about blackface, which is the denigration of black folks, especially this occurred early in the 1900s, where they were denigrating black folks by, Caucasians painting their faces black, using paint, by the way, that was created by or provided by the Ashkenazi organization. But yeah, like I said, it's hypocrisy all over the place on this one. But I'll leave it at that, Pastor Kelly.
Okay. Well, since you mentioned it, in family, we're showing sources because we don't want someone watching and that's anti-Semitic because they mentioned Jew or Jewish with blackface. And family, I have a full video that I did on this channel. And I think you did something on this as well, Benea, correct?
Yeah, sure did.
Okay, so family, just real quick, right? Let me just show you some sources here. All right, now this is, I'm not going well, you can't hear the video, but this is Al Jolson singing Mammy, right? I'm not going to go into it. I'm not going to play it for the sake of restrictions. All right. So Deuteronomy 28:37, it says, and thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, a byword among all nations, whither Yahweh shall lead thee. I posted that for a reason because we're the only community who can say we have been an astonishment, a proverb, a byword to all nations, including the Jewish community as we know them. Because as you see here, I'm going to show you, to Benea's point, who controlled even the blackface. All right. So what is blackface? You guys already may not know this, but when we go to Oxford Dictionary, it says this. It says dark makeup worn to mimic. And can you guys see my screen? I want to make sure you guys can see my screen.
Yep.
Okay. Dark makeup worn to mimic the appearance of a black person and especially to mock or ridicule black people. It goes on to say in the notes, the wearing of blackface by white performers was from the early 19th through the mid 20th centuries, a prominent feature of minstrel shows and similar forms of entertainment featuring exaggerated and inaccurate caricatures of black people. The use of blackface is considered deeply offensive. And then it goes on to give you an entry number 2, a performer wearing blackface. All right. So let's fast forward. I don't want to go into all the details of this, of what the actual word blackface, because it comes really when you understand the word, what is it? Aethiops, eighth, ether, black, or burnt, ops, face. All right. Aethiops. All right. But I want to just fast forward here. Don't want to go into all of that, but let's fast forward here. Let's go down to a couple of sources here. I'm not going to get into the slavery portion of it, but let me go ahead and go down to here. Let's go to this article right here. I think it's this one right here that starts off. Yeah. New York Times. Actually, this is dealing with the governor of Virginia at the time. I don't want to deal with that. But let's go here. Jewish Telegraphic Agency. We're using their own sources. Jews in blackface, a complicated history. February 6, 2019. And we'll drop this link inside the comment section for you to further vet. But it says here, Jews and blackface, a complicated history. When it comes to the Jewish experience with blackface, the picture is, well, not so black and white. For Jews, the controversy surrounding Virginia Governor Ralph Northam suggests a complicated history that runs from Al Jolson to Eddie Cantor to former Brooklyn Assemblyman Dov Hikand. Northman's political career is floundering because it should be floundering because of his 1984 medical school year page featuring a photograph of two white people, one in blackface and the other in KKK costume. But I want to make sure, family, that song "Mammy," that old Hollywood play, when you see Al Jolson, that is an Ashkenazi Jew that is performing that blackface minstrel. Just want to make sure we're clear, and that's what this is referring to. But it says here, he denies the photo or even knowing the photo was on his page, but admits he darkened his skin to look like Michael Jackson for a 1984 talent show. Go figure, right? Northam is walking in the footsteps of Al Jolson, born Asa Jolson in Lithuania to Jewish parents who immigrated to the United States. The actor-singer, known at the height of his popularity as the world's greatest entertainer, often performed in blackface. All right. And this is the advertisement for Mammy, Joel Olsen. You can look it up and you can hear the song with your own ears. All right. A couple more things here, then we'll continue here. Jolson's career flourished as a result of his portrayal of African Americans, most notably in the 1927 film The Jazz Singer, the first full-length talkie, in other words, movies that had actually vocals associated with it, audio associated with it, whose hallmark moment is his emotional singing on bending knee in blackface and drawn white lips of Mammy. At the time, Jolson was arguably better known in the country than any genuinely black performer. The current debate over the propriety of non-blacks impersonating blacks, especially through wearing makeup on their faces, whether accompanied by stereotyped black language and mannerisms or not, is focusing attention on the history of blackface. The debate exists at the intersection of cultural affinity and cultural appropriation, and the practice changing perceptions in parts of both black and white societies. But here's the kicker that I want to get into. It says blackface has a long Jewish history. The practice originated in the late 1820s with white males portraying African-American characters by applying burnt cork to their faces. These minstrels acts grew in popularity through 1840s, frequently exposing white audiences in North to a depiction of Southern black life. Mark Twain and Abraham Lincoln were known to attend minstrels, right? Abraham Lincoln, just about every president that's of today idolized him, so to speak, swearing in on his Bible. But nevertheless, white and black performers, including Burt Williams, the most prominent black entertainer of the vaudeville era, darkened their faces in this way. Blackface became a staple of vaudeville and of ads such products as cigarettes and pancakes. But let me get to a key point here. It says here, this is where I really want to get to. In addition to Jolson's leading Jewish entertainers who performed in blackface, including such prominent names as Eddie Cantor, George Burns, George Jessel, Sophia Tucker, Jews played a disproportionate role in the entertainment industry. See, this is their own source. They're making it clear. And it goes on to say Jews performed this kind of minstrelsy in the 1910s in 1920s better and more than any other group in America. And it says here, Jewish faces covered in cork were ubiquitous by Michael Alexander, University of California, Religious Studies, who wrote in Jazz Age Jews. All right, so I just wanted to give you guys a little history on that, and I'm going to drop this link inside the comment section, and you guys can, at your own leisure, could go back and review this. But I just, being that we brought it up, mentioned blackface, I want to make sure you guys have some sources that you can pull from in that regards. Any other things you guys want to touch on?
Well, just to finish up your thought there, if you look on the screen, family, you see 1910s and 1920s. That's during the great massacres in the Negro community. That's during Red Summer. That's during Black Wall Street, right? All those lynchings and stuff, family. This is what was going on. This is the sort of thing that was playing on the TV that was fanning the flames. So you got to keep it all into perspective. It's not just the fact that there was minstrels. It's the fact that they were dancing around, denigrating black folks when they were burning black cities. They were dancing around denigrating black folks when they were lynching folks. So like I said, you guys put it into perspective. It's way worse than just dressing up and pretending to be black. And then just one. Go ahead, guys. I was going to say one last question, or not one last comment, and that is, how we, just to show you the full hypocrisy when it comes to this stuff. That web page I was showing you, the Jewish founders. What I didn't realize, family, is if you scroll all the way down on the bottom of the page.
You want me to bring it up? You talking about this Hollywood page?
Yes.
Okay, I got it back up.
So I don't know. Let me see. Oh, you can see the screen. Good. So if you scroll all the way down, family. So this is the page. Again, this is the formal museum where they're venerating as you can see here, Jewish founders, right? And this is promoted by the ADL, because the ADL had, like I said, Jonathan Greenblatt himself has a piece in the Hollywood Reporter. Like, he wrote it, right? Talking about how important it is that we write that about the Jewish founders. Like, that's him. He wrote it. And so here's the hypocrisy. So they took Candace Owens's movie down, or videos down, and one of the, I think, Pastor Kelly, you showed it on your channel. One of the reasons that YouTube gave was that said, hey, you said that the Jews run Hollywood. Well, on this website, guess what? They have a promotional video, and I'm sure you can recognize that icon. Where are they running this promotional video about the Jewish founders making of a movie capital? And what do you think they're showing in this video that's on YouTube by Jews, by Jewish folks, certified by the ADL? The reason why I'm saying certified by the ADL, because, like, again, I said, Jonathan Greenblatt was the one that was promoting this and said that this needs to happen. This is what I'm talking about, family. It's like this sort of stuff, we got to bring this into court. It'd be nice to be able to bring this into court, because this shows that there is an agenda, that there is bias, and that there is racism.
Absolutely. I just want to say this one last point that I'm going to have to go. Rabbi Shmuley came out the gate on the Piers Morgan debate talking about his allegiance, his great work that he's done for Black and Jewish relationships. I believe he was Michael Jackson's rabbi at one point. Correct me if I'm wrong. But when I see all of the evidence that you show and the sources that you show about how much the Jewish media has clearly been racist without consequence, without backlash, them towards us. And then you have people commenting in your comment sections, like a white Christian woman just did, Why are you talking about the Jewish people? I sincerely want to know. Well, this is the same community that through their media portals have created a narrative that our greatest enemy as quote unquote black people has been Caucasians, uh, Anglo-Saxons, people that do not consider themselves Jewish in ethnicity or by religion. And so now you're bringing out sources and showing clearly that these people have never had our best interest in mind, that they have been the hidden hand. And yet there's still a last days blindness that now we see who is the man behind the curtain. Don't expose that. Don't do that. Because we must continue to stay in the dark. We must continue to pretend so we can fight this war between black and white, not understanding that we're dealing with nations and kingdoms, not understanding that we're dealing with principalities, powers, and rulers in high places that like to hide the hand. And so now you're uncovering it and providing the sources. And there's still a last days blindness from those who want to be blind, who were willfully ignorant to the fact that the people that they call the people of God or God's chosen people are really the hidden hand that is creating dissension among all nationalities. As the scripture said, ethnos against ethnos, or ethnicity against ethnicity will be at war with one another. They're the ones that are literally holding the puppet strings. And so I'm so disheartened to see so much blindness among the masses. And we as a people, we just can't afford to be ignorant anymore. So white Christians who are listening, if you want to continue to stay blind to the reality that these people who you call God's chosen people are not, then you will have to be judged along with them. That's the final thing I'll say. Thank you so much, Pastor Kelly, for having me on. Thank you, Brother Benea. It's always good to be on a platform with you, and you be blessed.
You too, Sips. Ema.
Appreciate it, sis. And family, real quick, and I want to share this here, touch on this real quick because Sister Shonda pointed out something that I want to point out here to make sure you guys understand here about the Anti-Defamation League. This is coming from the Baltimore Sun. Just want to pull this up real quick. Anti-Defamation League offices raided by police. Spy data sought in San Francisco. San Francisco police have raided the offices of the Anti-Defamation League, looking for illegally obtained law enforcement information used in a nationwide political spy operation. The district attorney's office yesterday also released hundreds of pages of documents detailing how ADL operatives infiltrated political groups. The documents described a widespread spy operation aimed at such diverse organizations as the White Supremacist White Aryan Resistance, the Arab American Anti-Discrimination Committee, Operation Rescue, Greenpeace, the NAACP, the Board of Directors of public television station KQED, and the San Francisco Bay Guardian newspaper. The searches of the ADL offices in San Francisco and Los Angeles were the latest twist in a scandal that erupted in San Francisco. So I just want to point that out, just kind of share some additional information that some of you guys may not be aware of, because we do believe in sharing sources here to show you guys that, kind of like the Matrix, that rabbit hole is so deep. It runs deep. And so again, what we're discussing tonight, unscheduled live, is to bring to you guys' attention that Candace Owens received 3 strikes or 3 YouTube, I will say possibly strikes. I'm not sure if they gave her a strike for each video that was taken down or they just gave her one strike for all 3 videos that was taken down. But they took down 3 videos of hers. She can't go live or do anything on her channel, and they demonetized her channel as well. And for those that are in this awakening, you guys can attest of going through the similar things that she is going through. I've gone through it a number of times. Beneo, he's gone through it a number of times. He and I talk a lot off line on some of the things that we've had to go through. As a matter of fact, Beneo, remember you and I was discussing about the issue that I told you about my video? Guess what? I had to report it to YouTube about the premiere issues that I'm having. So I can't do premieres. All right. So I want to bring that to you guys' attention as well. But nevertheless, Benea, anything else you want to share before we conclude?
Well, just a shameless plug, family. When you look at situations like this, it just highlights the injustice, the bias. You know, I mean, people get mad when we use the racist terms, the racism terms. But I just kind of struggle for a different way to explain it when something's good for one group of people, but it's not good for another, or when there's a benefit for one group of people, but that benefit's not available for another. I struggle with finding a word to be able to adequately define that, other than usually what I end up with just saying is racist. So forgive me if you're tired of the word, but I'm tired. We're tired of being on the receiving end of it, family. And so one of the things we can see with this Candace's situation, and that is just what we talked about before, right? Was that you see that when they gave Candace a strike, one of the reasons that they gave her a strike was because she said that the Jews run Hollywood. And that was on YouTube, right? And what we showed you earlier was that not only is there a whole website dedicated to it, that the ADL, who helped create this hate speech, manifesto, that the ADL, they created that, but then they turned around and then created a museum to break the rules that they just created. I mean, it's a head scratcher. And then they create a video celebrating the breaking of this rule on YouTube. And YouTube doesn't take that down, but they take Candace's down. So again, it just seems like there's an obvious benefit to a people, but it's not available to the rest of us, right? So that sort of stuff, family, that sort of injustice, that's what the Most High Willing, that the African Israelite Justice Foundation is here to help fight. Granted, we're very small, have limited resources, but we're just like you, family. We pray before we start each meeting, and we pray when we end each meeting. And we believe the Most High is going to, we pray that the Most High works through us and works through you to help get this done for Israel, for the benefit of Israel. So said all of that to say, family, if you ever get a chance, go out to IsraeliteJustice.org. That's IsraeliteJustice.org, and support, because Most High Willing, I truly believe, family, that there is going to be a time to come when we will be able to hold these institutions, especially these social media platforms, accountable, right? And so we're keeping receipts, and we want you to keep receipts too. So praise the Most High. So hallelujah. Thanks you, Pastor Kelly, for inviting me on. It's always a blessing, cuz.
No problem, family. We really appreciate the love and support from you guys. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that like button. Also subscribe to the channel. If you believe that you are subscribed to the channel, double check to make sure that you are still subscribed to the channel, because YouTube has, they have been unsubscribing our subscribers. They've been unchecking the notification button. So double check to make sure that you are still subscribed to the channel. Click that like button. Whether you agree or don't or disagree, still click that like button. We have over almost 1,600 people watching this live tonight. So I encourage you guys, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Benea, if you want to just share some information about your channel, and how people could view your contents and things along that line of what you got going on. I'm going to give you the floor, and then we'll wrap up.
Okay. Well, yeah, thanks, Pastor Kelly. Well, yeah, family, just check out Benaiah Israel whenever you get a chance. Benayah. That's Benayah Israel. And just type it into your YouTube search browser. And we have a platform over on YouTube as well as other platforms. But, feel free to start there. And I do believe I got something, a little bit of something with Candace. I actually created it before this whole stuff blew up with Candace, but it's still relevant. So if there is a video scheduled to come out at 10 p.m., which is about 15 minutes. So check it out, family. Yeah, thanks again, Pastor Kelly. Love you, cuz.
Appreciate it, cuz. And real quick, want to give here's one person that pointed out Yasharal, excuse me. They keep unsubscribing me. All right, these are some of the complaints that I've been getting. Want to give a quick shout outs to, let's see here, growing what I eat. Thank you for the super sticker, and also Boyd 2. Thank you for the super sticker. I want to thank everyone for the love and support. And as we conclude here, in the words of Yahweh, the words that the Most High has given to Moses in Exodus chapter 14, verse 13 to 14, he gave Moses to give these encouraging words to Israel. He said to them, "Tell Israel, fear ye not, stand still, see the salvation of Yahweh." These Egyptians that we see here today said that they will not have power over them ever again. The Most High will fight for them. But here's the kicker. We have to hold our peace. The Hebrew word there is charash, which means be quiet. Can't go back. Can't stay here. Keep moving forward. Shalom.
Listen, Genesis chapter 11, verse 10 explains the genealogy of Shem. Shem was a black man in Africa. If you repeat this back, Genesis 14, verse 13, Abraham steps on the scene. Being a descendant of Shem, which is a fact, means Abraham too was black. Abraham, born in the city of a black man, called Nimrod, grandson of Ham. Ham had 4 sons. One was named Canaan. Here, let me do some explaining. Abraham, Isaac was the... Jacob had 12 sons, for real, and these were the children of Israel, according to Genesis chapter 10.